Hey guys, John from AntlerScore.com coming at you with another product review today. In this box I got something brand new. This is the Lift by Exodus trail camera. Here's how the video is going to go. I'm going to open the box, see what's in it. I'm going to physically look at the camera. I'll go through all the functions, and along the way I'm going to show you some examples of pictures and videos that we got. I'm going to put the camera through some durability testing. Finally, we'll talk about cost, warranty, how you can order the thing, okay? Alright guys, here we go. We got the Exodus Lift in the box. We're going to take it apart. Obviously we got the camera in there, the cord to hook it up to your TV or your computer. We got the tree strap, the registration card, and the user guide. Alright, let's take a look at the camera. It's made from an aluminum alloy reinforced shell with durable all-weather finish coat, and it's camouflage. It obviously has the lens, the infrared sensors, and some LED indicators here. If you look at the sides, there's two clips, one, two. This one you have the ability to run a cable through or a lock for security purposes. If you look at the bottom, you've got the housing for the battery here. The little hole here, over here is for the microphone. And then this is an external power source. You can hook up an external battery to it. Down here you have a 1/4 inch by 20 mounting adapter. Alright, now let's open it up. Pop these two clips open. We just talked about the batteries underneath. Here's the button to pop the batteries out. You push that and they come out the bottom. Give it a tug. The manufacturer recommends 8 lithium batteries, so that's what I put in here. As far as SD card, it's found on the side. It takes up to a 32 gig SD card. And then if we look underneath again, we obviously have the same port for the external power source. You got the USB that can go to the TV or the computer, the TV out, and then this is the microphone again. If we look at the front, we've got a 2-inch color monitor. You've got the on-off test switch down here, and then not too many buttons. There's a menu button here on top. You've got 4 directionals, and then you have an enter button on the bottom. Down here is the serial number for your camera. You'll have to remember that for when you activate the warranty and look at the registration card. Now that we've physically looked at the camera, let's dive into the menu and see what kind of functions it has. I've opened up the door, give you a little bit better look at the buttons and the words on the buttons, but what we're going to do is we're zoomed in on the screen here, and I'm going to go through all the features of the camera, and you should be able to see them pretty good. So what we'll do first is just switch this to on. If your camera is all set, this is all you have to do to turn it on. So it's going to give you a countdown on the bottom right to aim your camera. Once that's done, it'll tell you it's ready. The bottom left is battery calculation. On the top left, it shows a camera, which means you're in camera mode and not video. 8M is 8 megapixels, 1X is 1 times zoom. All that stuff we're going to go through in a little bit. The top right shows you how many pictures you've taken, and then again at the bottom right, it says it's ready to go. We're going to click it to off, and then I'm going to go over to test, which is sliding it to the right. When you're out in the field and you want to check your pictures and your videos on the camera, just go to test mode and hit play, and then you can scroll through the pictures that are currently on the camera without taking the SD card out or taking the camera back. If you want to get out of that, hit play again, and it'll take you back to where you were. Okay, we're still in test mode. Now let's get to the features. Once you're in test mode, all you have to do is hit menu to go to the menu, and we're going to hammer through these and show you what the camera is capable of. As we get to each different feature, if I can show you pictures or some field testing that we did within those modes, I'm going to show you, okay? So the first one, mode. We hit enter. You can set it to photo, video, time-lapse, and hybrid mode. Here are some photos that we took. Here are some daytime photos. Here are some nighttime photos. And here are some photos that occurred at dawn and dusk. Video mode, here are some of the videos that we took. Some daytime video. Some nighttime video. Here's an example of time-lapse that we did. We'll talk more about that later. And then there's the hybrid mode, which is time-lapse during the day, but then normal camera, normal motion detector at night. Alright, menu always gets you back. So next, set the clock. Obviously pretty straightforward. There's digital zoom, normal, 2, 3, or 4 times. I'm going to show you pictures right here. This is a normal picture. This is a 2 times zoom, 3 times, 4 times. We'll go back. Next is image size. You can do a 2 megapixel, 5, 8, or 12 megapixel. For the purpose of all of our pictures, we did 8 megapixel. Burst count. You can go anywhere from 1 to 9, meaning if the trigger is set off, it's going to take a burst of pictures. In this next example, we set our burst to 3, and here are the pictures that occurred when I walked by the camera. Next, video size. 1280 by 720 or 1920 by 1080. For the purpose of our videos on this review, we only use the 720. Video length. Pretty easy to set, anywhere from 1 second to 90 seconds with this camera. Audio recording. So when you're shooting video, you can have the audio on or you can have it off. This is how it sounds when the audio's on. This is how it sounds when the audio's on. Next is TV out type. You can choose between 2 different live view formats. You'll refer to your monitor manufacturer specifications on advice for what would work best for you. Next is the power manager. You can keep the setting at normal or real-time away, which will let the camera go into sleep mode between triggers. Trigger delay. You can set the trigger delay anywhere from 1 second to 1 hour. Okay, time lapse is next. Time lapse will automatically take one picture regardless of motion as often as you would like. When we go into time lapse function, you use the directional arrows to set the amount of time that you want between pictures. For instance, in my example here, I set the camera to take a picture every 1 minute, then I put it all together to make a really cool series of images. Operating hours. You may want to set the camera just to take pictures during the evening or maybe just at night. This allows you to set a beginning and an end time. Just move the directional arrows down or up. Timestamp, on or off. This will just obviously put the time and everything else at the bottom of the picture. Temperature. Temperature can be in Fahrenheit or Celsius. This will also be at the bottom with the timestamp. Battery calculator. You can set it to how many days of battery are left or a percentage of battery left. Frequency, 50 Hertz or 60 Hertz. For the purpose of all of our field testing, we left it at 50. Camera name. Security enable, you can do it on or off, and if you turn it on, you can set a passcode or a PIN, 5 numbers, and you have to put that PIN in every time you turn your camera on to be able to access it. Latitude, and the next one is longitude. So you can put in your coordinates, and then it gives you the capability of GPS geotagging all of your photos. Wi-Fi SD, we left off. Alright, language. There's 8 different language capabilities. Format. You got to be careful with this one because you can format an SD card when you put it in, but once you format the card to work better for the camera, it'll erase all the pictures that are currently on the card. So we actually didn't, and it worked out just fine. And then default setup, everything we talked about here and everything you may have changed, it saves and then it works with just the on and off switch. But if you go to default set, yes, it'll put everything back to the factory settings, and then you'll have to start all over with your setup. And then lastly is system. You'll typically only need this if you're calling the company for technical support. You have the ability to look at the firmware versions and updates. Alright guys, while technology is fun to review, it's a lot to hammer out. Let's move on now to the field testing and the durability testing. We'll start by looking at the daytime trigger speed. The company claims that it's 0.9 seconds and has a distance out to 50 feet. I'm going to walk by the camera at 10-foot intervals, starting at 10 feet and moving all the way up to 70 feet. I did get pictures all the way up to 50 feet, and you can see by the pictures taken how fast the trigger speed is. Next, I'm going to do the same thing at night. This camera has a 60-foot no-glow infrared flash. I'm going to start at 10 feet and go back in 10-foot intervals all the way to 70 feet. Alright guys, in the nighttime testing, the camera picked me up at 10 feet, 20 feet, 30 feet, and 40 feet. But that's it. I also walked past at 50, 60, and 70 with no luck. In all fairness, I have been testing this camera for 6 weeks, and there were situations where I did pick up nighttime pictures out to 60 feet. So it seems that this camera is consistent out to 40 feet, but a little more spotty out to 60 feet at night. Alright, let's move on to the fun part. I got a brand new camera, so it's obvious that I'm going to try to wreck it. While I don't have the ability to change the weather with the snap of a finger, I have thought of a few ideas to recreate some extreme elements. What I'm going to do is try to put it through heat, cold, and rain. There were 2 tests I could think of for heat. 1, throw it in my truck on a hot summer day, or 2, put it in the sauna in the locker room at the gym. I decided to choose the vehicle over jail time, so let's go and take a look. The temperature in the truck that day reached a steamy 132 degrees, and guess what? The camera kept working. When I got done, I threw this bad boy right in the freezer. The scary zombie picture you're seeing is me putting the camera in the freezer. I left it in for 12 hours. I did check it once in the middle of the night just so I could trip the trigger and get a temperature reading. As you can see from that second picture, temperatures did get down to 3 degrees. The only issue I had with the camera once I pulled it out of the freezer was once I started going through the menu, the down button stopped working. It only stopped working for about a minute and truly just had to warm up. After that testing, I've used the camera for another 4 weeks and I haven't had any issues with the down button. So more importantly, it didn't stop working when it was cold. The camera itself taking pictures, it was just the button needed a little time to warm up. Alright, the next thing I did was made it rain. After I soaked it down with the hose, I opened up the door and everything inside was bone dry. I wiped it off with the towel, took another picture, and everything still worked perfectly. Okay, that's it for the field testing. Let's move on. Where can you get it and how much does it cost? On the Exodus website, the lift retails for $229. You can order it online. I'm not sure if there's any retail availability yet. You'd have to call the company and find out with them, but just check it out on their website. I'm going to put the link below this video so you can take a look for yourself. This company, Exodus, boasts a 5-year no BS warranty, meaning that if anything goes wrong with the camera in normal operation, they'll replace the camera anywhere between the purchase date and 5 years. The other thing that's really unique about the warranty is that if your camera is stolen or damaged, they'll replace it one time up to 50% off the cost, which is really cool. I'm not sure if this is the best warranty on the market, but if it's not, it's got to be darn close. The one thing that you have to make sure to do though, you have to register the camera within 30 days of buying it, otherwise the warranty is not going to be valid. The other really nice thing about the camera is each one is quality tested before they send it out, so they literally open it up, test it, make sure it works, and then they send it to you. Alright, here we go. Let's hammer through some pros and some cons. Pros. I thought this camera was really easy to set up and I thought it was really easy to use. The built-in screen is great. For setup, you can aim it where you want it, and as far as checking pictures in the field and videos in the field, it makes it really convenient so you don't have to pull out the SD card or bring your camera back with you. The daytime pictures were incredibly clear, and I didn't even use the highest setting on the camera, so I would assume that if you bump it up to that 12 megapixel, you'd probably even get nicer pictures. The time lapse was a really fun feature to mess around with. As far as durability, this camera had a working range between 3 degrees and 132 degrees. And obviously, last but not least, the warranty is pretty sweet. I've gone through a lot of cameras in the last few years, and I may very well be taking them up on their 5-year warranty at some point. Let's move on to cons. Most of the pictures that we got during the day and the night, including videos, were really good. The only situation when pictures didn't turn out with great quality was at night when you had an animal moving real fast, which I'm going to show you right here. Second, the camera comes equipped with a 60-foot IR no-glow flash. During our testing, we did pick up pictures out to 60 feet, however, it seemed to be more consistent out to 40 feet. Lastly, when talking about the on-screen battery calculation, if you open up the user guide, it says that the battery calculation will work for alkaline batteries, but it won't work for lithium batteries. However, the company recommends using lithium batteries for this product. So you're going to have to make a decision. Do you want to sacrifice the battery calculation for the better lithium battery, or do you want to use the alkaline battery so that you can have the on-screen function of the battery calculation? As far as limitations go, I didn't use the highest quality settings for the photos or the videos. We could have bumped the photos up to 12 megapixel. We could have bumped the video up to 1080p. I just didn't do that. Assuming that we did, you probably would get a little bit better footage, but that's just what we did for this review. Okay, next, the weather testing was fun, but in the real world, I know these cameras sit out in the woods for months, if not years, so our testing really only scratched the surface, so only time will tell the long-term capabilities and durability of this camera. But you know what? If it does break on you within the first 5 years, then you're going to get a new one anyway. That's it, guys. I know this video got a little bit long, but with technology, there's just a lot of stuff to go through. I tried to give you as much footage as I could, so you can make the decision on if you like the camera or not. Cameras are nice to review because you can obviously see the pictures and the videos right on screen, and it makes it very easy to understand the quality of the product. Please comment below, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Otherwise, till we see you next time, peace.